Hello student, this is Pallab Darbari, your host, and you are watching Pallab Darbari classes. In this video, we will discuss the second chapter of Business Studies class 11th, that is formation of business organization. The topic is joint stock company. That is the first video of the joint stock company. Let us see the topic that we will discuss in detail. We will discuss the meaning of a company. We will discuss features of a company, and we will also discuss the merits and limitations of a company. Let us see the definition of a company. Joint stock company is a voluntary association of person for profit. It means it is an association of people joined together for the sole motive of earning profit. The money which the people invest in the company, that is capital, is divided into shares or is called the shares, the ownership of which is conditioned of membership. It means that whosoever invests the money in the company become the owners, but it is subject to membership. It means that in the case of a public company, the membership is transferable, but in the case of a private company, the membership, the shares are not transferable. In a very simple word, we can say that joint stock company is a company created by law, having a perpetual succession and a common seal. The people join the company with the motive of earning profit. Let us see the features of a company. The first feature of a company is incorporated association. It means that the company can only be formed after being registered under the Companies Act 1956. Second feature is legal existence. The company after registration secured a legal position. It means that the company can be considered as a separate legal person. The company can file a case against its own name, can purchase the property under its own name. So the company procures its own identity after the registration. The next is perpetual existence. It means that the company is not affected by the insolvency, insanity of any of its members. Members may come and go, but the company will survive forever. It is being said that the law has created a company and the law itself can dissolve the company. Let us see the limited liability. In the case of a company, the liability is limited. There are two types of the limited liability. One is limited by guarantee and limited by shares. When I say limited by shares, it means that the person is liable till the amount unpaid on the shares, and limited by guarantee means at the time of forming the company, whatever the money they have guaranteed to pay at the time of liquidation, he will be liable till that amount only. So in the case of a company, the liability is limited. The last one is separation of ownership and management. We know that the true owner of the company is the shareholders, but it is being managed by the professionals, MDs. So in the case of a company, there is a separation of ownership and control. Let us see all the features in detail. The first feature is incorporated association. The company must be incorporated or registered under the Companies Act 1956. Without registration, no company can come into existence. The next is separate legal existence. It is created by law and it is a distinct legal entity independent of its members. It can own property, enter into contract, can even file suit in its own name. The next is perpetual existence. See, death, insolvency, insanity or change in the members has no effect on the life of a company. It can come into an end only through the provisions prescribed by the law. Since the law has created it and the law itself has the right to dissolve the company. The next is limited liability. The liability of every member is limited to the nominal value of the shares brought by him or to the amount guaranteed by him. The next feature is transferability of the shares. What it means? It means that the share of public company are easily transferable, whereas restrictions is imposed on the share of the private company. The next feature is common seal. See, it is the official signature of a company and it is affixed on all the important documents of a company. Whatever the decision the company takes, they will put the common seal on it, and it's a declaration that the decision is being taken by the company. The next feature is separation of ownership and control. Management of a company is in the hands of elected representatives of shareholders, known individually as directors and collectively called board of directors. Now let us discuss the merits of a company. The first merit is limited liability. Listen, in the case of a company, the liability of the members are limited. They are limited to the amount unpaid on the shares, or they are limited to the amount guaranteed by them at the time of forming the company. So their liability is limited on the amount unpaid or the amount guaranteed by them. If anything goes wrong to the company and the company's assets are not sufficient, then their personal property will not be touched. The next merit is transfer of interest. In the case of a sole proprietorship or in the case of the HUF, the membership cannot be transferred. But in the case of a company, one can sell his share to another person, and the person to whom the share is being sold, that very person will automatically becomes the owner of the company. So in the case of the company, the share can be transferred. The next is perpetual existence. Perpetual existence means that the life of the company is not depend on the insolvency, insanity of the members. Members may come, members may quit the organization, but the company will survive forever for the unlimited period of time. Let us see the scope for expansion. In the case of a company, the money is being invested by the people. The money is being pooled by the people, so the company is having the unlimited access to money. So the chances of expansion and the growth is more in the case of a company as compared to sole proprietorship, joint stock company, cooperative society and so on. The next is professional management. Since in the case of a company there is a separation of ownership and management, it means that the true owner of the company is the shareholders, that is the ordinary shareholders or the equity shareholders, but the company is being managed by the professionals, MBAs who are well acquainted in taking the management decisions. They know how to take the decisions and they know how to tackle the problems. So management of the company is good. Company is being managed by the professionals, so the chances of earning profit is more. Let us see all the points in detail. The first is limited liability. The limited liability of the shareholders reduces the risk of losses borne by him. Next is transfer of interest. It is easily transferable of shares. It increases because of easy transferability of shares. Attractiveness of the shares increase for investment. The next is perpetual existence. The existence of a company is not affected by the death, insanity and insolvency of the members. Company can be liquidated only as per the provisions of Companies Act. The next is scope for expansion. A company can collect huge amount of capital from unlimited number of members who are ready to invest because of limited liability. Easy transferability and chances of huge return makes the investment positive or makes the people attracting towards the company. Next is professional management. A company can afford to employ highly qualified expert in different areas of business management. Now let us discuss the limitations of a company. The first limitation is legal formalities. In the case of a company, the formalities are enough. It will take a long time period to frame a company. So framing a company is not a easy task. It's a mere Herculean task. The next is lack of secrecy. In the case of a company, before every decision, the meeting has to be held and the decision to be taken in the meeting collectively. So it is very difficult to maintain secrecy. And one thing more, all the information will be tabloid. Annual report should be publicized, so it is very difficult to maintain secrecy in the case of a company. Next is lack of motivation. Since it is being managed by the board of directors and they are the paid employees, so if they work with all the enthusiasm and because of their dedication, the organization earns a huge profit. They will not get any percentage of the profit, so they are not getting the kick to manage the company well. The next is delayed decision making. As I told you, decision is being taken in the meeting. So when the meeting is being called for before every decision, so it will take the time period. Next is oligarchic management. It means that the real picture of the company is totally different. According to the company's law, it is being said that the decision will be taken democratically, but in reality, decision is being taken by the board of directors even without consulting the shareholders. Let us discuss all the limitations one by one. The first is legal formalities. The procedure of forming a company is very long, time consuming, expensive and required lot of legal formalities to be fulfilled. Next is lack of secrecy. It is very difficult to maintain secrecy in case of public company, as company is required to publish and file its annual account and report. Next is lack of motivation. Diverse between ownership and control and absence of a direct link between efforts and reward leads to lack of personal interest and incentive. Next is delay in decision making. Red tapeism, bureaucracy do not permit quick decisions and prompt actions, so there is a little scope for personal initiatives. Next is oligarchic management. As we have discussed, company is said to be democratically managed but actually managed by few people, that is board of directors. Sometimes they take decision keeping in mind their personal interest and benefit, ignoring the interest of shareholders. That's all we have in this video. Thanks for watching. God bless you all.